Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the Sacred Embodiment Podcast. My name is Sheila, and I am so grateful to have you here today. We changed up the setting a little bit. It's actually in my room. We have two paid actors here, King and Ox, my yin and yang, to balance all the energies out. So let's go ahead and dive in. I honestly haven't felt inspired to post anything, but with the past several days and then leading up to literally just 5 minutes ago, I felt the call, felt the pull, and I was like, okay, we're gonna tune in, we're gonna dive in. And then I'll just figure out whatever title this podcast will be afterwards, because I channel these on the spot. They're always in the highest intention of the collective, and you will receive some guidance here, some soul wisdom, some source information from God, higher self, spirit, something from the collective or for the collective that will help continuing this transformation and alchemy that we're all experiencing as we continue to navigate the 3D of reality and the spiritual things that are in the 4D. So, okay, let's go ahead and dive in. So, one of the things that I was getting is, and I'm getting chills now that I'm pulling it back up because I'm tuning into the collective energy and reading the thoughts there. So one of the things that I was getting when I was tuning into that is self-esteem, and specifically the aspect of elevating your self-esteem and where and how this ties in to your spirituality, and where there can actually be downfalls almost essentially as well, because you would think that the more that you grow on your spiritual journey, that your self-esteem would also increase, which, if we're talking about self-esteem, what are we defining it as? Well, this is the way that you see yourself, perceive yourself, feel about yourself, the way that you carry yourself in perspective or relation to other people, and how you think of yourself as this being navigating reality, okay? And you would think, right, that if you're on this spiritual journey, that you would also at the same time have the inevitable of your self-esteem rising at the same time, right? Oh, Robin hears somebody outside, also another paid actress we have here. So you would think that this would be something that happens naturally, but there's a lot of downfalls and distortion that can get in the way of what it might actually look like in a raw and authentic way that is fully in alignment with your higher self and fully in alignment with source. Because the higher self path, this path of wanting to grow more as a soul, wanting to align more with your higher self, which is the version of you that is most healed, has gone through all of the challenges, all of the struggles, and knows the way to navigate them both energetically and physically. That route and that path and that journey, it's not easy. It's one of the hardest ones, because you're actively having to look at your shit. You can't just dismiss it or try to look the other way, because it will come to find you. One way or another, you'll have dreams about it. You'll have something physical in your life that will now pop up, and you are the direct cause of it, because it all started from within. Just the more that you start your spiritual journey and the more that you acknowledge this, the more obvious it is, and the more you can't dismiss it. You can't just be like, oh, I got into this is a fucking real one. Not me, but I know someone who got into several car incidents, and they're like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. And I'm like, not my place to say, but it could be related to multiple things, energetically and physically. But you get to a point where you can't overlook that anymore, essentially. And then it's like, okay, now things are happening in my life, and I know that it's directly tied to me, because I'm creating this reality in combination, in relationship to, or with the co-creation of source and my higher self, my spirit team, and your guides and all those things, which obviously the ones of the highest and purest light, because we don't fuck around with that. But in the aspect of it being your self-esteem, you would think that the more that you grow in your spiritual journey, that your self-esteem would also go up, and it's going to have a lot of downturns, but also like almost like you'll be because the images that I'm seeing too as I'm like tuning into this energy more, you'll be riding up the ladder of your self-esteem going up with everything that you experience and you take accountability for and acknowledge in your spirituality, but then you'll have a downturn again where now you're being exposed to something else and then you'll go back up, and it keeps doing that. It's not like this continuous thing of like my self-esteem is now the best of the best of the best of the best always and forever. Like there's always going to be little bits and pieces of this, but there's something specific about this too. Hold on, because I actually do want to, there's like one specific thing when I was tuning into this energy. Let me feel into it again. Self-esteem thing. Okay, the thing I'm getting is like, how can I actually hold my self-esteem in a way that looks like what I want it to be? That's, ooh, chills. That's what it is. Okay, how can I hold my self-esteem in a way that it is what I actually want it to be? And that is all coming back to the like the grit and the struggle it fucking takes to get to that point. Like if you were to ask yourself, and I literally, and now we go back of all the things of my own reflection these past few days. I asked myself the other day, like, okay, if I am feeling like shit this morning and I want to feel loved, and if I had someone in my life that was giving me like the most abundant love, deep care for me, like what would that look like? And I literally journaled it out for myself, like, okay, they would take my dog out, they would make me breakfast, and then we would cuddle up in bed and watch the sunrise. And I literally did that for myself. And the thing is, like, you have to have the audacity and the grit and the willpower to force yourself. And I don't mean force in like a nasty, I'm gonna bypass all my fucking shitty emotions and never cry in my, my life. That's not it, because your girl's a fucking crybaby. I cry for a lot of things. Fun fact, I used to get called a crybaby when I was in school, but that's because I'm highly intuitive and empathic, and obviously I'm picking up on everyone's energy. I'm crying all the time. So, so that being said, you have to have that like very intense willingness to force yourself into that position, and not in a bypassing way, but in a like, what can I chip away at every single day that will align with that truth? If I'm wanting to build this self-esteem for myself, what do I need to chip at, right? Like this is literally the tiniest fucking doll hair microscopic energetic piece and physical piece that you can do to start chipping away at it. It's not like, okay, now let me start going to the gym 5 days a week so I can start feeling better about myself. Like that's not gonna last. Like I will fucking tell you right now, that's not gonna last very long, baby. Cause it's it's not actually like, you're not ready for that amount of force. Like if you're trying to force someone to do something who has never done it before, who feels extremely uncomfortable, and who's literally in the complete like opposite energy of what that energetic embodiment is, if you try to force someone to do that, it will never work. They will resent you, and it just leads to a lot more chaos. You have to think about the same thing for yourself, like holding that small energetic piece, and what can you start to chip at every single day that starts to resonate, like have that same resonating energy of what you're wanting your self-esteem to be and to become and to evolve into. It's not like you are forcing yourself in the sense of like doing things that you don't want to do, but it is in the sense of like forcing yourself to look at what it is that you're repressing and holding back, and why is it that you feel like you can't do it. And like if you feel like you can't do it all the way, then what are little tiny pieces that you can start picking up? Because the thing is, like, you like a lot of people don't realize this, but like obviously we're living in an energetic and physical world. You have to hold the energetic pieces like let me see how much, like over 75% of the time before you can actually do the physical thing. And this applies with a lot of things. And I'm like looking up here because I'm like feeling intuitively where this all resonates. And even for the collective that is watching this, you will also resonate with this because this is true for you as well. Like you have to hold at least 75% of the energetic pieces before you can hold the physical embodiment of it. And it's not even like because I know they talk about this in the manifestation world. I don't know. We're manifesting all the time, but you know, but all of that is like true in the sense of like you have to hold that energetic embodiment inside of you first. So if you're wanting to start going to the gym, or you're wanting to boost your self-esteem and like do something greater with your life, if you're wanting to literally insert whatever you think is going to boost your self-esteem and whatever you think that physical embodiment looks like, what does it mean on an energetic side? Like, what does that actually look like? Like, does it mean you're holding more love for yourself? Does it mean that you're moving slow in your body? Does it mean that you're having conversations with yourself? Are you journaling? Like, what does the energetic part of it look like? Like, are you holding more space within yourself to feel emotions, right? Because that's another thing. Are you holding more awareness within yourself to look at things and not be so judgeful? Like, all of those things, which highly, like, a lot of it is the emotional, but emotions are energetic as well. They just transfer into the physical, and then that's when you have like the physical thing of it. But all of those are energetic pieces, because obviously you can't pick up sadness. Like, you can't hold sadness, you know, you can feel sadness, but you can't pick up sadness. It's not a physical thing. So all of that comes to the energetic place of like, how much can you start to see the energetic pieces? And I used to do this a lot. With being on my spiritual journey for so long, I would experiment with a lot of energetic tools to help me understand more energetic concepts and spiritual concepts. So for me, it was meditation. Like, meditation was the biggest thing for me, and it's still a wonderful tool, but it's like you have to know when you're using it and when are you going to stop using it to start doing the physical actions of it. Like, you have to pull that physicality or the energetic part from like a meditation and pull it into the physical and implement it and integrate it, so it's actually holding physical energy for it to alchemize into something, you know? Like, you can't just meditate all day, like that's not going to work. But if you're holding the energy to start getting used to it, and then now you're holding that energy throughout your day, not just when you're in the meditation, like, okay, yes. And this applies for literally everything, because the point is like, if you're wanting to get your self-esteem to a point where like, how can I actually get my self-esteem to a place where it looks like what I want it to be, you have to show yourself that you are even energetically able to hold that. You have to show yourself that you're energetically aware of what comes through that, because you would think that, okay, if I have a really high self-esteem, then like all these other things in my life are going to go well. True, but then also think about like other people, other situations, circumstances, like how would that affect that as well? Like, you have to literally think of the energetic and think of all the possibilities of what energetic timelines it could literally open up. Like, it's not just, oh, my self-esteem is high and now this one timeline is working out really fucking well for me and now everything's fucking dandy. Like, no, you got to think about all the possible energetic timelines that are going to open up just because you decided that you wanted your self-esteem to be at a certain place and look at a certain level and like look a certain way for you, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think that's everything I want to talk about right now, because I'm feeling, yeah, that's feeling like a close. I'm just feeling the energy, and then also reading into the collective of who's going to watch this and like how much can I share without it being overwhelming. So if you enjoyed this podcast episode, please let me know down below. Share it with someone who you would find it insanely helpful. And I will talk to you soon. And I hope you have such a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.